Next, we've got another front-end tech, Diety. So these guys believe that any merchant should always be in control of their e-commerce business. Only when they're being in full control over the complete business from back end to front end can they achieve true commerce excellence. So Diety is here to give that full control, to give the freedom to build what businesses truly need. And not only that, but it's kind of like being a DJ in control of the music, who with many different instruments composes this masterpiece. Diety enables businesses to orchestrate all commerce services and data streams, creating a unique shopping experience. Composable commerce at its best, it's not just connecting APIs together, but truly composing your commerce. So with Diety as the crucial centerpiece in the composable and headless world, that's how it's rolling. It's not just another commerce service or a PWA front end. Diety is a tool, a platform, a control panel, the mixing table. So you can take over true control of all your different instruments, all of your commerce services with Diety as your equalizer. Today we've got Jamie Maria. She is the co-founder of Diety. Look, Jamie Maria is addicted to e-commerce. She's in love with code. Her mind is just bound to business. She's driven by the urge for innovation, and she fights with the aim to improve the online world around her. With Diety, albeit it's an online revolution to evolve web technologies to the use of PWA solutions. So you can find her working with the boys in the heat of the moment or in the middle of the night. She's trying to transform chaos into gold. One of her passions is to empower women and girls to never stop chasing their dreams as well. In fact, one of her life mottos is actually inspired by Steve Jobs. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. So get ready for a run through of the world of software architectures. Everyone who works in software has heard of terms like PWA, monoliths, headless, microservices, composable, and even service-oriented architectures. We all know what they are, but how much do we really know about them? In this discussion with Diety, you're going to be shown the differences, the similarities, when to use them, when not to use them, some success stories, and of course, the massive failures. So get ready for a decent half an hour of tech comedy, because architecture is going to be fast and fun. Please join me in welcoming the CEO and founder of Diety, Jamie Maria.
Hello, thank you, Raven. Amazing, what you all just said. I don't know what to add to that, but I'm very, very happy that I'm here. It's 3 p.m. here at the moment, but I hope I still look energetic and fresh. If anybody has any questions, please ask them any moment. I'm happy to stop and answer them immediately. But let me first, here's my Twitter handler. If you want to follow me, please do and ask me any question that you want. But first I'm gonna share my screen and you're gonna see for a second everything, and now you should be able to see my slides. So this night and tomorrow, good morning, afternoon to the rest of the world, I'm gonna talk to you about software architectures going wild. So as Raven already said, my name is Jamie and I'm the co-founder of Diety, and I'm going to talk to you about software architectures. I'm going to make them fun and understandable because I know it's a bit boring subject sometimes and it's not always something interesting, but today I'm going to try to make that for you. But it's going to be wild, so wear some sunglasses because I love some crazy graphics. So 2020, 21, 22, e-commerce is booming. I don't have to explain you that. What happened, and here are some nice numbers and graphs of what happened in the beginning of 22 when we had a 10 years growth in just 3 months, and after that it went a little bit down but back up again. And I still think that the massive jump that we made, looking at July 21, I don't have anything new here, new numbers here, but you do see obviously that there has been a massive growth, and this is the numbers of shares of sales. So about 25%, 28, 27 is online at the moment. And we came from just before COVID, 17, 18, something like that. Anyway, most websites are slow. Experiences are super horrible. And we have all this shit. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but all this stuff that is happening on our website, and very cool one, this URL, you should really visit it. It's super fun to figure out all the annoying stuff. But unfortunately, lots of websites look like that. and merchants barely keep up with all the demands that their customers have and all the new things and all the new pop-ups and chat tools and experience reviews and whatever there is. And developers are trying to make some sense of it. They're trying to make, not just the developers, but also the designers are trying to, get all this in and make it look good. And unfortunately, that's bad, and it's not always the best thing. And to survive, we actually need just one thing. We need fires. That is in my opinion, the secret ingredient to get our website up and running and booming for the next couple of years and for our future. So what exactly is fires? And it's something that I like to use a lot when talking about composable commerce and the future of commerce. And I think this fire principle explains it all. What we need is websites and platforms and software and technologies that are super flexible. We shouldn't be just stuck to what one platform decides to do or to what one platform decides to integrate with. We should be able to be super flexible, to build what we want on front end, to build what we want on back end, because we are the ones who actually have the best. Someone asked a question if we can have some outsource our slide deck design. We need more unicorns. Oh, yeah, definitely you can. But so we need to be super flexible so we can actually build, because we as merchants and we as developers and we as designers understand what the business needs. So we also need to be integratable. We need to make sure integrable. I don't know how to explain that, how to pronounce that. But what we need is the possibility to integrate with everything out there. There's so many cool stuff out there. There's so many nice tools. I mean, there's tools for search, tools for front ends, tools for payments. There's so many cool stuff, and we need to integrate that. We shouldn't be stuck to what the platform has as a plugin. We should be in control of that. Then we definitely need to be reliable. Traffic peaks all over the place, Black Friday, every Friday. And we need that. We don't need to go down any single time. Then we definitely need to be extensible, because the business doesn't stop today. Many people are building the business as it is today, and then they're building for, 4 months, 5 months, half a year, and then they're actually building a shop that they needed half a year ago, and they do not have a platform that allows them to grow, to extend without adding any complexity. And that is what we need. We need something super flexible that we can, extend and get into new markets and add new tools without making it super complex or having a long time to do that. Last but not least, we need to be scalable. I think an easy one to guess. We need to make sure that we can scale always, everywhere, and anytime. So, unfortunately, the flexibility of most websites is like this. It's very yoga versus vodka, and it looks very shit. So to understand why, we need to have a very close look at software architectures. So basically, there are 3 main software architectures, and the number one is well known with everyone, monolithic architecture. The number 2, we have headless architectures. And a number 3, one that might not be so well known, is the SOA architecture, or the service-oriented architecture. Double A there for the ones who are seeing it, I'm sorry. But so moving on, showing you what is the difference between that. And I'm going to start just with the old and the gold ones, which are the monoliths. And the monoliths is basically one big chunk piece of code, and everything is in there. Our presentation layer, front ends, our business logic, our data interface, everything is in that one piece, and very, very tightly coupled together. So everything that we build and that we add, it's really, really stuck to each other, but it's also heavily depending on each other. I mean, we have these use cases where people, change something in the payment, and then all of a sudden the stocks are different, and nobody knows why, nobody knows how it's possible, and everybody's pointing at each other that it's their fault, or that integration, or that plugin, but it's happening. And obviously there's a problem with scaling. If you want to scale, we have to scale the whole damn thing. So the only thing that these things are good for, pros, all is in one code base. Everything is there. Easier to start, because if you want to start and you can just start in one piece, then that's easier. Easier to develop, especially when you start. It's easier to test, because you just have to test one thing. Easy to maintain, but that only counts if you're running a one dev show. If it's one developer, just you, or your business partner, whoever, working on this, it's good. You can run a nice small site doing this, and you're gonna be fine. But as soon as you're growing, you're gonna get in trouble. So what are these cons of the monolith? If I look at the cons of what can happen here, I mean, it's not flexible. It's not at all flexible. I cannot continue building and doing nice stuff. It's very hard to extend. I mean, once I'm there and I'm going to add some plugins, some more plugins, I'm going to be bad. I'm going to have a spaghetti. Then it's very hard to maintain. I want to make it good. I want to make it look nice, make it fast. And that's going to be all fun in the beginning. But after 2 years, that's going to be a tough job. And it's definitely not reliable. You cannot just rely on the whole monolith by itself unless you put some crazy servers, but then still you're going to have some bottlenecks and, drama. So it's not suitable for fast growing sites. I don't say monoliths are bad at all. I mean, if you're just running a blog or some basic websites, it's fine. But if you're fast growing site, e-commerce, blog, whatever you are, don't do this. It's not going to be nice in the long run. So, and still, most of the modern internet is a monolith, unfortunately. But we're changing that, hopefully. And I mean, today we're here together talking about composable commerce, trying to change this thing. So let's move on quickly to the world of Heartless, not unknown by anyone here today. So I don't have to explain that much, but here is my image. And as you can see, we have a decoupled front end. Our presentation layer is separate from our business logic side. And the back end is via API. So I have my presentation layer there separately. I can do nice things. And then via API, I'm going to get my data. I don't have any more dependencies on the front end because it doesn't really matter. I'm getting my data via API. So I'm not like stuck with something else. And I'm not coupled with something else. There's nothing going on. And I have my freedom on UX. Finally, can build nice experiences, not being bothered by the people who work in the backend and who, I don't know what my slides are doing, but who are doing crazy stuff in the backend. And I don't have to worry about that. I can just focus on my UX. So pros of going headless. Many of them front end not depending on backend, performance advantages because I can really scale my front end separately and do something nice with that. I am very much more scalable and much more reliable on my front end, and I'm very flexible in the UX. And last but not least, devs can work in separate teams, so I can have my presentation people, my front end people working separately from the backend people, meaning that I can really shorten the time to market, but also meaning that I can have specialists working on what they're actually good at. There are some cons, however, and I would like to highlight them. So what are the cons of going headless? Is that the data that comes via the API can be really, really slow, and then you're going to have still a problem on your front end. You can also, I mean, you're still stuck with the back end there. I mean, that back end can be that business logic there, can be whatever, can be any platform, and you're still restricted. But what that one offers to you could even be a monolith in the back end, and that's definitely something that you want with such a hyper modern front end. And you're still going to be super depending on that platform features and integrations that it offers, and then you cannot really move forward there. And it's also definitely not enterprise ready because it's just the presentation is a layer, but I want to move. I want to make it bigger. I want to do something more than just being stuck again with a platform, and on top of that have a very nice front end. And definitely no multi-X. And that's something that is very important, especially in our region here in Europe. If you want to get a little bit bigger, you're very soon running into multi-X issues with currencies, languages, stock, warehouses, and whatever you want to do more on multi-level. Okay, so cool, but not a superhero solving all your issues. Okay, fast-growing merchants are facing crucial platform issues, and some of them we just mentioned, problems with extensibility, problems with, being everything stuck together. But what they need are obviously a few things. What they need is on front end and back end super flexibility, so you can actually focus on your business and build what is best for you. What you also need is the freedom to integrate with everything that is out there. You should be in control of what is best for your business. You're the one who's deciding which search you want. You're the one who's deciding which email campaign you're running, which tool you're running for your, for your stocks and for your product information management and whatever. And even under duress, you should be super reliable. Then you should, without complexity, should be able to extend. Even if you're 2 years down the road, you should still be able to, without complexity, extend your business and get into new markets as fast as if you're running a very clean new software platform. And then obviously you need unlimited scaling, because we're all shooting to the moon and we're all going to go very, very big. So we need to be able to scale unlimitedly. Fires. There it is again. Yes, fires. That's what we need. Okay, wait, what about PWAs? I get this question a lot when I'm talking about subjects like architectures, and people are like, hey, but PWAs, that's a promise that's going to solve everything. Well, the PWAs is something different. I mean, PWAs talks about the marriage between native apps and responsive web, and all these cool things like push notifications, installing on home screen, and one place to enter content, and all this very nice stuff. But these are all, I would say, more like features. I mean, this is a bunch of features, right? And then we always talk with PWAs about loading times and, 3.2 seconds, all the people are gone. And that's ridiculous if you would do that in a normal shop. But, that's what PWAs is about. It's about experiencing the web the way we experience the web. And technically, PWAs are HTTPS. We have a service worker there and a web app manifest. PWAs can exist in a monolith and can exist in a headless environment, but it doesn't mean that it has anything to do with composable commerce, because it's a set of features. It's a way we create front ends, and a very good one. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it has nothing to do with software architectures. Definitely not. Okay, let's move on from here. Next level commerce, service-oriented architectures. And here we get to the cool one. Next level is this. So we're not only, as you can see, separating front ends, but we're also separating back ends. And what we're doing is not just separating these back ends, but we're turning the back end logic into separate business services, where every service can be a standalone service, like search, like payment, like platform, like PIM, stock, whatever management you're looking for. And the cool thing is, and I'm not sure if you can see the little arrows, but the business services are not connecting with each other. They're just talking to the middleware. And the middleware takes care of all the data. So the business service do not bother with what other service is running, because they don't have contact with that service. You don't have any more dependencies, not on front end, not on the back ends. You have no interference between these things, these services that are running. And you can set up a full multi-X with double presentation layers, multiple different backend services, and everything is a service. And I love it. It's like the Linux way. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I can. I mean, it's like the Linux way. I mean, it's just building systems that are just damn good at the one thing, right? It's about building something that is super good at doing one thing, that is focusing on doing one thing, rather than trying to build something that can do everything. So composable commerce, how does I get into that? And that's actually, if you look at that image, that is actually what it is. Oh, I can, for some reason, hear myself, Raven. I'm not sure if there's technically something happening here. I will try to turn off the sound so I don't hear myself anymore. I'm not sure if you hear two sounds at the moment. Please help if you do. But composable commerce. So looking again at this image, and really, we can really compose our commerce. We can put business services together, add presentations layers, so that I really have that building blocks to put together. So what we are is fully in charge of our business now. And what we have is the freedom to enterprise enablement, but still with the ease and speed of a SaaS system. So what we do is really build that enterprise system and have that freedom to add our own things and to make the business as we want it to be, but still can use the existing services there. So we still have that ease and speed of SaaS. We get full control over the data, because not only do we decide where the data comes from, which business service is responsible for that, but also how we modify it and how we change it and how we use it in the other services or in the presentation layers. We get also full control over the front ends, not just the back ends, but also on the front ends. And of course, full control over your backends. There it is. So, and last but not least, it's unlimited scalable, because we can scale every presentation layer, every business service, the middleware, and whatever we want separately. Composable commerce, there it is. Finally, our fires. So Gartner has a lot to say on composable commerce. And one of the things that it says is composable commerce, a long-term goal for organizations seeking to shift to an architecture that will enable business agility. It also says by 2023, 50% of new commerce capabilities would be incorporated as API-centric SaaS services, and application leaders responsible for digital commerce should prepare for a composable approach using packaged business capabilities to move forward future-proof digital commerce experiences. And there's many, many more statements like this, because composable commerce is the future. This is where we need to move to. We shouldn't be restricted anymore on what the platforms, decide to do. We should be in control of our own businesses. So through composable commerce, how do we recognize that? True composable commerce is more than just software, right? It's really composable thinking. It's a team. It's different. It's a team of people, of developers, of business owners. It's a team of different software partners that work together and really think in this composable way, rather than trying to get everything to themselves to connect. It's the way of we do the business. We need to architecture our business to that. We need to decide and start from, rather than start from which platform, putting Magento next to Shopware, next to BigCommerce, next to Shopify, and making crosses and checks like, hey, what fits best. We should really design our business from the core and decide what do we want, what do we need, and then see what services are matching that. And last but not least, definitely we need that composable software architecture that allows us to actually do it. And for that, we need a way to manage our data and orchestrate the data in the right way. And that is how you recognize true composable commerce. And sometimes I hear, in the last few months, and I think half a year, I hear many, many times people talk about composable commerce. Oh, we're composable. But many times what they actually mean is that they're more modular. That they're one of the building blocks, or they have a system that can, that you can compose within the system, but it doesn't make it a true composable commerce system. And that's why I would like to point out some of the fake composable commerce stuff. So, one of the things, if somebody tells you, oh, the numbers of service is limited, you're dealing with something fake, because in true composable commerce, the number of services is never limited. And vendor lock-ins, people tell you, hey, platforms tell you, hey, that's fine, but you can only use our integrations. That's definitely not the composable commerce that you're looking for. Technically, it might be a composable architecture, but it doesn't mean that it is really the true spirit of composable commerce. Scaling is limited, tells you that it's fake, because scaling is unlimited if you do true composing. And there is no true separation of front end and back end. And we see that also a lot. People say, hey, you can pick and choose what you want, but actually there is no separation between them. It's just a bunch of functions and components that are put together, but not a true separation between them. And that is something also how you recognize that fake composable commerce world. So restrictions on integrations, the same actually as number one and number two. If there is any restriction like, hey, no, this doesn't match, or we cannot integrate this, or we cannot integrate that, you're dealing with something fake, because composable commerce is all about working together and putting everything together. Okay, so fake versus composable commerce. Wouldn't say Headless is super fake, but it's not the true spirit yet. Headless is a very great feature of a part of the composable commerce. It's like the top part there, but it should be much more than just connecting to one backend. Okay, so where do I handle all my data? And that is this nice thing where the middleware comes in. And that middleware part, let me get back 1 second. So that middleware part is where I not only handle my data and orchestrate my data, where it goes to the front end, but also where it goes to different backends. And not just where it goes, but also how it goes there. I can change, modify, or adjust or enrich my data before it goes to any place. So looking at what we actually do is providing you with that middleware, in combination of a front end plus a lot of integrations with ecosystem industry partners and payment service providers and many other tools out there. And what we do is provide you with that enterprise enablement, but then with the ease and speed of a SaaS system. So last thing that I would like to show you is, so how does that actually work? So here on the left side, I have a demo shop, our demo shop, and it has a BigCommerce backend, some WordPress in there, and using Algolia as a search. And for those who are familiar with Algolia and BigCommerce might know there is no integration between the two, and yet still I'm going to use them at the same time. On the right side, I have my backend of BigCommerce where I can gonna adjust the product and I'm gonna adjust the pricing. Top right, you're gonna see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go from the PWA, putting in a search, then going to the middleware, asking for the result. The middleware is gonna ask Algolia to give that result. Then I'm gonna do something with BigCommerce. So if I'm looking here at a clock and the clock is costing me 89 euros, I'm going to change the price to 99. And upon saving, I do not have to run any index. I do not have to go to Algolia. I do not even have to restart my front end, and my data is there. What just happened? So what I did, I changed the product in BigCommerce. That one sent an update to the middleware, letting it know, hey, there has been a change in this data. And the middleware can immediately tell, okay, which backend, which front end needs this information. And it sends it immediately to Algolia. So as soon as I restart my search, I'm getting immediately the new list, the product list with that new information there. We can process this data within 300 milliseconds. The cool thing is we can push it in a dynamic way to already open websites or open applications that are running. Many cool opportunities, not just for pricing and stock, because that's a little bit of a boring example, but obviously think about all the things that we can do in terms of user experience, AI, product recommendations. We can immediately push that new data there. So what we want to do is allow you to give your business the fire it deserves. And as Raven already said, be that turning table, get behind that button. And here in this image really represents that, well, you should be the one in control and controlling where what comes from and where what should go. And that is what we do. We compose commerce together. We want to compose commerce together with you. We want to shape the world of commerce. And we really, really love to be a part of that. If you want to reach me, please send me an email. Please find me on Twitter, find us on the website. You can find us everywhere. Also, we're going to be here in the booth all day and tomorrow. And of course, you can ask your questions here right now. Thank you. Are there any questions here? Oh, there's one. You mentioned BigCommerce. What other commerce engine do you have existing integrations with? So we have, I still hear myself. There's a delay with my own voice. Very, very annoying. So I'm going to turn down my volume again. So we have integrations with commerce tools. We have integrations with Magento. We are working on new ones. Very nice commerce engines that we're working on at the moment, which I cannot say anything about yet. But please, if you have anything that was not on the list or that I didn't mention, reach out, because there is no restriction. We can all integrate them and we can actually work with you to figure it out and to get it done. And I'm not sure if anybody else has a question. I already see some people connecting with me on LinkedIn. So I'm very, very happy that please, you can also find me there. I'm happy to be connected and to talk with you. Manon, my colleagues Manon and my colleague Sharif are also in the chat. Please talk with them. Please set up a meeting. We're happy to talk this through again, to show you our product, to show you what we do, to share with you our ideas, and obviously look at what you're struggling with or what you would like to achieve, and see if we can build this world together. We're open for everything, for partnerships. We're open for obviously for merchants who want to work. But yeah, we have question: how does it save developer resources if they still need to build underlying integrations to commerce platform per component, or that many platforms now have builder type functionality. So well, I think there is two questions in one here, two answers actually in one. That many platforms now have page builder type functionalities. I will answer that one first. Yes, true. We can even use page builders together with this system, so that's not an issue. Although we see on the more enterprise side, page builders are fine, for landing pages, but if you're just starting your own website, page builder is not enough if you're really looking into the bigger enterprises who want to have their best service there. So we do want to give that enablement and that freedom that they can still code themselves, but they can definitely use page builders in there. And how does it save developer resource? They still need to build the underlying integrations to the commerce platform per component. The cool thing is that we're actually doing many of them, and we are building. And of course, if you would ask me what would you like to build today or tomorrow, that would be everything. We're still obviously doing it, and we're running it, and we're building day by day more. But obviously, once we build it, we don't need to rebuild it anymore, and we don't need it anymore. Once it's there, we can reuse it every single time, and for other customers as well, and for other players as well. So yeah, it takes maybe a little bit of time if we don't have it yet, but don't worry about that, because that's where we come in, and we're very happy to invest in that and to work together to get those done. And if that's the last question, then I'm logging out. No, not logging out, but getting off this this stage and give this stage back to Raven. Please send me messages if you have any more questions, and I'm here all night. And thank you, everyone. Good day.
Thank you so much to Jamie Maria. She is the CEO and founder of Diety.